Hey guys, my first voiceover sucked, so I'm redoing it. This is a tutorial to show you how to use your Oculus headset to get into Unreal Engine so that you can VTube, make games, make content, whatever you want. I'm gonna get straight into it. Let's go. Things you're gonna need to do this. You're gonna need an Epic Games account and Unreal Engine 5.1. Currently, this movement sample from Meta only exists up to 5.1. Maybe that'll change. Feel free to explore that on your own if you feel comfortable doing that. But right now, this is going to be over 5.1. You're also going to need GitHub. So make sure you have a GitHub account and a GitHub desktop, the GitHub desktop application. And finally, you're going to need Visual Studio. So let's get started with step one. Step one is going to be setting up your headset to be able to actually stream your tracking information to your computer. So I'm going to show you guys right here. This is the MetaQuest documentation for making a developer account and enabling developer mode. Let's go right into this. This is the website here if you want to look at it yourself. I'll hopefully put the link in the description. And you're going to be going to this link first to create your organization. And you're going to log in. It's going to ask you about your organization name and a couple things like that. So, for example, I'm just going to put in my stuff right here. And I'm going to submit this. Boom. This is okay. Once you do that, you're going to go over to this link here and you're going to verify your account with them. Whoa. Thought I just doxed myself there for a minute or something. But it's just going to ask you to verify some stuff. And then you're going to enable developer mode. So there's a couple different ways that you might have to do this. It's possible in the mobile app if you have the mobile app. And right here, this is the options. You're going to go to settings in your headset, system, and developer. And you're going to turn on USB connection dialog. That, I don't know exactly what it means, but I'm pretty sure effectively you're saying it's okay to use a USB connection to send excess additional information that it wouldn't normally let you use, right? So now you've created your organization, you've verified your account, and you've enabled developer mode. Just to be safe, make sure that in the Oculus app on your desktop, make sure you have that first of all. When you go to your settings, you should see these two tabs here, and you should see the beta settings. You should see developer runtime features, pass-through, eye tracking, natural face expressions. You should see these options if your developer stuff is set up correctly. Now, you're going to check them all on because they should be grayed out. You're going to click this on, and you're going to check all these. Turn on. This is the settings that are explicitly going to let you send your tracking data over the Oculus link or Air link. That is going to be extremely crucial. If you do not do this, it's not going to work. If this USB debugging thing does not appear, then your face tracking is not going to show up. You might even get some errors when you try to launch Unreal. Now, just one more reminder, if you don't see this option here, you can go to your mobile app, and as long as your headset is paired, you can select your headset, and then you can select the headset again when a little pop-up appears at the bottom. Then you will go to the headset settings, and you will click on developer settings, or developer mode. That's where you're going to check that enable developer mode. I didn't get this USB bugging, whatever. Geez, I can't say that. I didn't get this notification until I did it on my mobile device specifically. So if you're having trouble, make sure that this is checked everywhere. Everything needs to know you have developer mode on. Once you've completed these steps, you should have your headset set up and ready to use. Also, if you know how to use AirLink, good job. If you don't, I recommend checking out another tutorial for that. It's fairly simple and straightforward. It's just an option in the headset to cast your headset to your desktop so that you can play games from your desktop on your headset, etc. This, what we've just done, allows you to take advantage of that connection, and instead of take things from your desktop onto your headset, it lets you push stuff from your headset onto your desktop. right? So that's what we've done now. Congratulations, you've made it to step 2. We're going to link our Epic Games and our GitHub accounts so that Epic Games can invite us to the Epic Games organization on GitHub. This will allow us to download and make branches or whatever on the Unreal Engine source code. And I know that that sounds terrifying. I promise you we'll get through it. So go ahead and click the connect button underneath GitHub. Mine's already connected, so there's a blue button, and I have the option to remove it. Obviously, I'm not going to do that. Extremely important note. This next part stuck me here for 2.5 weeks with the Epic Games help desk people. You may need to use Microsoft Edge or a different browser than Chrome to actually get the invite link to the organization. And again, you're going to need a GitHub account to link, so make sure you've made one or have one already. But please make sure that you use Microsoft Edge or a different browser, because when I did this with Google Chrome, I had to spend 3 weeks back and forth with the help desk trying to figure out why I was not getting an invitation to the organization. Once you've done this, you will be able to access stuff onto GitHub, and we're going to move over to GitHub now. So here we are in GitHub. If you're not familiar with GitHub, I'm not going to explain it because I'm not the best person to, but go ahead and find your account in the top right and click on this Organizations tab. You should have an invite from Epic Games to join their organization. If you do not, you're not going to be able to see most of their repositories. These are like places or folders, you could kind of think of them as. And you're not going to be able to download stuff, which is very important. Now, for example, this is what we're looking at. You're going to be able to hit a green button and click Download Zip or something else. We'll get to this in a little bit. But this is not actually the repository we want. We do not want to go to Epic Games Unreal Engine. We actually want to go to the one from Oculus. To get there, we're going to head back to the MetaQuest documentation. Now, in here, there's a ton of stuff, and again, with everything else, it's stressful. But we're going to click on this Movement SDK for Unreal, and we're going to click on this right here. The thing we care about is that if we scroll down to Implement, we will see a link. And apologies, I'm wrong. Here it is. In the movement sample here, and again, I'll make sure I keep these links in the description, you're going to find Unreal Movement Sample right here. Oculus VR Unreal Engine Fork. If I open that, this is what that looks like. If you didn't join the organization, you are not going to be able to open this link. Now, you might notice that that little green code button isn't here because it doesn't let you make your branch or download the file from this singular folder. You actually have to take this whole Unreal Engine source code file. So, really, really important, what you're going to do, instead of downloading the zip, you're going to hit fork, this down arrow, you're going to create a new fork. And when it asks you, it's going to say, oh, crap. There's going to be a checkbox, and it's going to ask you, only create a fork for 5.2. Make sure you uncheck that. You want all of the branches and all the versions. So, once you've done this, you're going to be able to go in to GitHub Desktop, and you're going to be able to find this repository. If it doesn't show up, you can hit Add and Clone Repository, and it will show you all the repositories you have in GitHub, right? So now, let's take a look at this here. At the top here, you see Current Branch. If you are stressed out about GitHub stuff, I promise we are not doing too much with it. I know it's scary. Make sure that you set your current branch to Oculus 5.1. You do not want it on 5.2 because if it's set to 5.2, the sample file for the Oculus stuff will not be there. Now, once you've had your current branch set to Oculus-5.1, you're going to click on Repository and Show in Explorer. This is going to bring you to the files right here. So Visual Studio, if you're not familiar, is pretty much just a thing that lets you look at, edit, and make code. I'm sure some of you more tech-savvy people are shaking at that explanation, but this is what we care about. You're going to install all of this. We already did this part, but we care about this Visual Studio part. You're going to download it. You can use 2022 or 2023 or whatever, but you want to make sure you have the correct components checked. So make sure at the beginning, once you've opened it, you check that you're going to be using game development with C++, and you're going to be using these things. Make sure each one of these boxes is checked when you are installing Visual Studio. Now, after all of these beautiful things have been done, you are going to run this setup command. It's going to take a while, and it's going to be pretty horrible, but it's not the longest thing you have to run, fortunately. This one has crap in it. So now, once you've done all that setup, and hopefully I have some visuals for how you set that up when I talked about the checkboxes, because I did stream it, so I should be able to pull those visuals. You're going to run this setup command, and it's going to open up a command prompt thing, and it's going to run a bunch of stuff. And then, once you've done that, you're going to select this generate project files. Hey, at least I am seeing the things now. There's two. This one's a batch, though. Oh my god. Hey, there we go. Command. Once you have run both of these commands, you should get this little command, or whatever you want to call it, right here, Visual Studio Solution. When you open this up, this is where one of the absolute worst parts of this entire thing come in. You've downloaded the source code for Unreal Engine, and you need to build it. Now, what that means is that you have downloaded code, and it needs to become the Unreal Engine language. Right? This is not the Unreal language. This is just code. So, you're going to go to the top here where it says local Windows debugger or whatever it says next to this green arrow. You're going to hit this drop down arrow and you're going to configure startup projects. Once you do this, this box will appear and you're going to select configuration properties. Scroll all the way down until you see UE5. Right here, make sure it says development, 64, and build is checked. Once you've checked that, you can go to the side here. You're going to right click this line here where it says solution, and you're going to click build solution. Now, I warn you, before you do this, make sure you have some time for your desktop to be doing this. We can build. Yeah, I think that's what we needed to do, actually, is build that. It took me hours. It is literally building the entirety of Unreal Engine 5 on your computer. So, not only is this a costly thing to do because it's going to take a lot of space, but it's going to take a lot of time to get it to work. But once you finally do that, you're going to see that in this samples file of your repository from GitHub, you can go into the movement sample folder, and there will actually be an Unreal Engine project file application that you can run. You're going to make sure that when it asks you, you're going to run it in 5.1, and when you do, you're going to get an error because you do not have the Meta XR plugin installed. This is the last piece of this horrible, horrible puzzle. But once you have it all in place, things will, in theory, all work together. Now, when it gives you an error, if you try to run that, it's going to say something about the Oculus XR plugin, but it seems to me that just they've replaced the name, but it's effectively the same thing. So what we're going to do is you're going to look up Meta XR plugin, or hopefully, maybe I'll put it in the description. This is going to appear, Meta XR plugin, and you're going to see this. If you've ever downloaded a plugin for Unreal before from the marketplace, this might be a familiar experience. You're going to click external link. Notice you are leaving Epic Games. Sure. And it's going to take you right back to where we belong in our Meta Quest documentation. Now, very important. Notice, this is version 5.2.1. We're going to select version 5.4 in this upper area, and you're going to see that this is set to 5.1.1 now. You need to make sure that you download the right version of this plugin so that it's compatible with UE5.1, because again, the sample only exists up to 5.1 as of the time I'm publishing this tutorial. You're going to download this plugin. I've read and agree whatevers. I'm sure, by the way, you guys are aware already that if you have one of these headsets, you're signing away a lot of data to Unreal, and by enabling developer and stuff, I can only imagine it's even more. Once you've downloaded it, you're going to take this folder right here, Meta XR, and you're going to do something a little bit different. Instead of, or along with, I'm not entirely sure, actually, it recommends you put it in your UE installation folder, engine, plugins, marketplace directory. You're going to actually just put it into your project directory. Now, I know that doesn't sound right. I don't think it sounds right either, but this is the only way it worked. So once you go into this movement sample, you're going to right click, make a new folder, and name it plugins. This isn't going to work, of course, because I already have one. I'm just showing you. And then you're going to drop that Meta XR folder right in there. So again, make sure you just extract that, bring it into this folder. And then, if everything is aligned correctly, you will be able to go from that folder and launch your Unreal Engine guy. That is all of the steps. And once you do that, you will have your Oculus AirLink enabled. And if you click on this button here, play this level in VR, while your Oculus Quest or whatever it is air-linked to your computer, it has to be air-linked before you open this project. Make sure you're air-linked in. You might be able to do it after, but I digress. Once you click this button, you should possibly get a pop-up on your headset that says allow USB debugging. Click OK, and if it all runs together smoothly, you should be able to actually see your stuff. Now, I just clicked it, and I don't have my headset air-linked. So that's what's going to happen if you do not have your headset air-linked. You shouldn't need to mess with any of the code in the sample project yet, and it should work. So I am going to put on my headset and enable AirLink just for your guys' sake so that we can end where we started with the tutorial. I'm going to go into AirLink on my headset and click launch. And once that is loaded up, you can click on this green button. Now again, if any of these singular steps has not gone right for you yet, this will probably not work. I'm going to select play an engine, whatevers, and in my headset, I see this application loading, and it sometimes takes only a few seconds, and sometimes it takes longer. Now, a couple things. I notice that with my headset, if I air-linked and had the USB plugged in, the USB connection actually made my headset laggier. It made it laggier, and it gave me really weird display issues inside the actual headset. So I'm only using Wi-Fi. on my Airlink, and this is it. This is what you are going to get to, and it doesn't seem like a lot, but now it's inside Unreal Engine, right? And if it's inside Unreal Engine, then you can make your own character, you can make your own environment, you could make your own game, or you can modify the face tracking or do whatever you want, right? That is the beauty of getting this done. Hopefully, this was a helpful tutorial. Hopefully that you were able to follow these pieces and get it to work correctly. And let me know if anything goes wrong, and I can try to help troubleshoot in the comments so that people can go to the comments if they have issues, and there will be, hopefully, solutions. Again, I will try to add visuals through this whole thing. This is just my voiceover right now. So hopefully in the visuals, I have pieces from the stream of me doing the things that I'm saying. Please, if this was helpful at all, like and subscribe. I'm going to try to continue this series of making an avatar and trying to link it into this and just see how far we can take this and continue to make it in this tutorial format so that other people can do this too. Because again, I just didn't see a tutorial like this. I saw people using their iPhones for face tracking. I saw people using other stuff. I just didn't see Quest to Unreal in one singular place. So, again, please like and subscribe. Hopefully this video was helpful to you. If you have questions, please throw them in the comments. I will try to answer any of them. I usually look at every single comment. And that's all. Hopefully it was helpful. See you guys.